Hi there, I'm Doran Ellen Beldotan. Shavua Tov. Good week to everybody. In many videos, I have hinted about that which I'd like to speak more directly and with fewer veils on it in this video. And that is the truth that there is no truth. That's the ultimate paradox. And while there is no truth, and please God, I'll explain why that is, sincerity and integrity are choices that we are capable of making, and the consciousness that has accepted the creation of peace in sincerity and with integrity will produce, while they are still illusions, experiences that are worth having, that are worth creating. The terrible truth is that we must make a choice between one of two states. One state is that we're living in a created world and having experiences, and the other state is where we revert back to being God and go back to that which is not even oblivion. Nobody to talk to, no one to relate to, no one to give anything to, no one to be with. Those are our two alternatives. Most people live in a state of dread, fear, and anxiety between two options, the one being oblivion and the other being insanity, experiencing horrors that they are not in control of. Of the two terrors, most people would prefer insanity to oblivion, but that need not be the case. Anything that we experience in the world, anything, is necessarily an illusion. It's not your illusion, it's God's illusion. Because the choice is being all alone. So we create the illusion of other people, situations, worlds. However, if we do not cultivate a devotion to the higher values, the way in which we are going to do that is going to be negative. When I watch the videos of what people are experiencing, my heart sinks. Hailstones the size of baseballs falling on their houses, their wall suddenly coming out of their house and the Yellow River flowing in, mountains suddenly collapsing, fires, wars, captivity. And I look at this and I say to myself, these are the choices that they're making instead of oblivion, but they are not making their world deliberately. They're not aware. My friends are here. You hear them? They're not making it deliberately, and they're quite sure that they cannot control this. Now, while there are a number of disciplines that teach people how to use their minds much better than people who don't have disciplined minds, they don't get past the point of thinking that thoughts spontaneously arise. And what matters then is our reactions to the thoughts that have spontaneously arose. I would like to see humanity get past that way of thinking to understanding that we can very definitely control that which we experience. And the way in which we do that is, again, by being devoted to peace, the beauty of togetherness in peace, sincerity, integrity, so that these become the mainstays of everything that flows out of our consciousness, and whatever situation we then create is built on those pillars. So that we're having illusions, but they're illusions worth having. We need to know that they are illusions, but they're beautiful illusions, instead of horrible illusions that we don't know are illusions and we think that they're real. I have said to Jewish people again and again and again, with God's help, that the tool that we have been given from our deepest recesses of consciousness is the Hebrew language. The Hebrew Torah is structured such that we get a grip on our imagining facility, and we then be able to become able to create worlds as we will, so that things don't just happen to us, chlap chlap, and it arose spontaneously. No, we are in control of our creating facilities. That is what's called the Kingdom of David. Eden, that is Gan Eden, 774, is Dimayon David, the imagination of David. It is also equal to the name Bathsheba. We can enter the realm of the imagination of David, of the imagination of one who loves, one who has mastered their imagination. In Hebrew, the term imagination is dimayon, and you should hear dominion in it. The kingdom of David is the dominion over our demayon, the dominion over our imagining facility, such that that which we imagine is worth having, is our experience is worth having. Learning in Aramaic will not get you to that point. I have never met a rabbi ever who would dare to say that they are capable of creating worlds of peace. With all the chutzpah that they may have, they don't have the chutzpah to make that claim. I do. I know how to create worlds of peace because I learn in Hebrew from the masters, from our holy progenitors, our fathers and mothers, from the holy judges, from the holy prophets, and from the holy members of the house of David. One is, not only can, a Jew is expected to master that ability, to be able to create worlds at will that are peaceful, holy, beautiful worlds that are worth living in. Yes, they are ashlayot. Yes, they are imaginary. But that is the way it must be. Anything created cannot have the reality of God, and God's reality is not any kind of experience whatsoever. Those are the choices. So if you are Jewish, I would recommend that you learn Hebrew deeply, correct Hebrew, deep Hebrew. I have found that the best way to learn Hebrew profoundly is directly from the source itself. I've talked with my husband about this. He agrees with me 100%. When one learns grammar as an isolate, or syntax as an isolate, what you're getting is any other isolate. You can take vitamin C as a pill, but it is not integrated the way it is integrated into a whole fruit. And so the body doesn't absorb it the same way. The best way to learn Hebrew is directly from the source, by reading Tanakh. And then we see it, the rules of grammar and the rules of syntax actually integrated into the sentences, and the sentences are telling us how to do this intentionally, so that we learn how to build worlds intentionally. Eventually we get to the level of Shlomo HaMelech. There are others who attain this level as well, where they're actually above the levels of grammar and syntax. They can determine the laws of grammar and syntax as they will. That is what is called being a king, in not having to be under the laws of grammar and syntax, but rather being able to determine them as one wills. A Jew can get to that level. Other peoples, I would recommend that you look deeply into your traditions of how to think correctly, in a way that it's worthwhile cognating, experiencing, and firmly adopt a dedication to the principles of creating peace, of being someone with integrity, of being someone with sincerity. The ultimate paradox is we have to create our illusions with sincerity. Thank you for listening.